not going to lie, it certainly has been a struggle to get out this morning, but worth it. Nice and dry, not too cold. Perfect for a little tempo training with some nasty bursts. Some of you may recognise this from the Greater London Flat. Here's the reality, a cycle lane. Loads of electric bikes in London. Fair play. And here we go. Now you'll recognise this bit, but not. Okay. Driving Miss Daisy. Here we go. Here's where we come onto embankment. No traffic lights on Zwift. How's it going?
It's alright.
You're right. That's a nice looking bike.
Yeah, I built it myself.
Very nice. Yeah, yeah. Fast.
Yeah, it goes like 50 kilometers.
How many?
50 kilometers.
50 kilometers an hour, that. And onto the embankment. And that's how we do it in real life. Normally you don't have to stop as long at the traffic lights, but this cycle path is perfect, and I can get cycle paths nearly all the way to Regent's Park, so it's really, really nice way to get around London. So this is Ed's tempo with the surges. Basically for an hour I go at 220 to 230 watts, FTP is 294, and every 1 minute and 50 seconds I do a 30-second burst at 400. Down to 220 to 230 for 1 minute 50. Well, that's definitely one way to celebrate turning 46. Boy oh boy, is that a hell of a lot harder in reality than it looked on paper. And there we're working on my tempo, my endurance, but with also what Ed would describe as some spicy little 30-second ramps. He is, after all, the master of understatement. I reckon I stay within the power range, around about 210 to 250 for the tempo, and 380 to 420 for the 30-second sprints. And then I decided to garnish the training by going straight into a little 10-minute ramp, going all the way from 230 to 300. Legs are absolutely ruined. That's why I wanted to get this training out of the way on a Tuesday. I've got a shorter, more intense training session to contrast with this to come either tomorrow or Thursday, ahead of the 1 hour FTP on Saturday. But definitely a nice little training to get under the belt, and time to get home, have some breakfast and get on with work. Going in with the pan raison. It's simple, but very effective, super nice. In interesting developments, I present a very rare sight indeed. But it appears that I now have competition for the Watt bike. She's putting Davide to shame with a no-handed skill.
No way, I will edit this out, you know that.
Well, what a sensational autumn morning. Very, very cold. But I do wish it had been like that for yesterday's tempo with surges. Anyway, on the deck today is Ed Laverack's Break Clear. It's a short but intense, highly anaerobic training. More of that to come in a second. But first, because it's nice outside, I'm going to complement it with some rotating pull-ups, but also a few deadlifts downstairs. I am a firm advocate of the strength training for building both power, good movement patterns and flexibility and general health. And I also think that the strength training, which is also anaerobic, complements nicely a training like this break and surge. Anyway, time to quickly load up on the amino acids, the Phil Richards amino work capacity, and some cold coffee. I've preloaded a scoop. In she goes. It's a sour apple today. And I'm gonna go with about 150 milligrams of caffeine, which will get me through both the strength element of the work, but also hopefully the break clear. Anyway, see you in a second out there. Time to get on with the rotating pull-up. I love this move. It works the lats, the biceps, a little bit of shoulders, but also quite a lot of core. And of course the core is critical for putting nice even power down through the crank, whether seated or especially when standing. Now before I went back to the gym, I got up to about 12 to 14 reps with these. Let's see how I go. Now I am aware that some of you don't much enjoy the strength work, but fear not, because in the final third of this video, there is one of the most intense anaerobic cycling trainings I've ever taken on. It's short, but it isn't sweet, and it goes by the name of Break Clear, taking emotional to fresh new heights. It wasn't so much the strength that was the problem there. It was the fact that I was rotating. I've been too used to doing them in the gym with a nice fixed bar. Well, after not the most successful foray outdoors, is back inside to take on the trap bar deadlift. Now this coming Saturday, I've got the 1 hour FTP to compare and contrast that against the FTP derived from the 20-minute test last Saturday. And hopefully a few of you are going to join me for the meetup for that, so we can all kind of do the compare and contrast, see how our 20-minute test compares to our 1 hour test. #science. Anyway, because of that, once again, I don't want to go anywhere near muscle failure on these trap bar deadlifts. And that's why I'm doing these, plus also the anaerobic cycling training on the Wednesday to give myself plenty of recovery ahead of the test on Saturday. So the focus here is going to be on greasing the groove once again, looking for nice form, i.e. straight back, tight core, knees out over the toes, and pushing through with the hamstrings, the hips and the glutes in order to complete the movement powerfully, staying well short of muscle failure. I guess aiming for about 8 reps this week compared to 6 last week, but if the bar speed slows, I'm going to stop the movement there. Anyway, let's see how I go. Yeah, they felt real nice. I could have definitely gone on for 10 to 12. Looking for just 3 sets in total. Like I say, we're just greasing the groove, locking in good movement patterns this week. 36 seconds away from the first of the intervals. Obviously you've seen there 20 seconds at 590, straight into a minute at 370. You only get 1 minute of rest or recovery between each of the 4 efforts, and that's what's really going to make this beyond difficult. I'm going to do the 590 standing, that's the only chance I've got of really hitting the power, and the 370 seated. Here we go. ERG is not engaged.
Indeed, most certainly no need for erg mode to police these efforts. Anyway, spirits had been high when I clambered aboard the Watt bike, and I must confess that due to being extremely busy at work, the name of the training aside, I hadn't really perused Ed's plan of attack, and it was only when scrolling through the training on Zwift that the full horror of what was about to come dawned on me.
Hard.
Having only 60 seconds rest between each anaerobic effort
Wow.
would prove to be, well, shall we say, less than adequate.
Horrendous. Number 2 in 10 seconds. This is horrendous. Got my gearing wrong for the 20-second there. Number 3 coming.
The scenes of suffering may become too harrowing for some, so compassionately we transition to a fast forward. And for the aficionados who prefer to consume their suffering in real time, Bike Racing Without Mercy's got your back. Relax and enjoy the next 80 seconds.
Wow, that is hell. Now, oh dear me. Full disclaimer, Coach Laverack did not set obviously a 1 hour FTP test this Saturday. So that is not in the program. I was meant to do this on the Thursday with more rested legs. So I'm not going to do the final 2 sets of that, because I think, having gone very, very close to failure there on the bike, that would have created a lot of stress on the body in a very short time, and I'll get a good training benefit. But now it's time to focus on getting some blood back into the legs, spinning them out, and doing similar on Friday. Nice high cadence zone 2. I think if I go again, it's just going to detract from Saturday's 1 hour FTP. As I say, that is not in the plan from Ed. He has not suggested I do it. In fact, you know, overall, versus the objective I'm training for, I build my endurance and sustain, hopefully, or close to sustain my top end power. It may not even be accretive to that in any way, shape or form. Anyway, time for a little bit of high cadence zone 1, zone 2, and the post-ride, post-workout recovery. Dear, dear Ed, I salute you, sir.